If I were to sit down with my circle of friends and ask them if they knew what food freedom was, I'd probably get a response like this. What is this? I don't know about you, but in my circle of friends, this isn't a topic. We don't talk about food freedom, body peace, any of that. In this video, you and I are going to define the term food freedom, and by the end of the video, you're gonna come up with your own idea of food freedom because it means something different to everybody. If you're new here, hey, welcome. My name is Tanya. I like to chat about, yes, menopause, but all things that make us live an unconfined and fulfilled life. If this is interesting to you, please subscribe and hang out with me right here. I'm really a lone wolf. Now, if we were to go into my circle of nutrition friends, that's a little different. They're a little more aware of this whole concept of food freedom, but they all have different definitions of it. I have a few non-diet food freedom friends in my nutrition circle, and I have friends who also believe in detox. I believe there's a middle road, but in real life friends, nada. Now, if you're new to this idea of food freedom, it's not a surprise because many of us have been following diets most of our lives. This isn't something that's been on our radar. And I still think the concept is really out there for people who are in and around 50. Maybe even 40, because a lot of us have been dieting and have been really concerned with what we eat for most of our lives. What is food freedom? I thought I would make a video about it because in my last video, which I will hook up at the end, I talked about food labeling as part of food freedom, and I realized I didn't even define this concept, and it might be new to a lot of people. The general consensus is to get rid of diets. That's what food freedom is, not to be stressed out about what you eat, to give yourself permission to eat all foods. It's supposed to help you ditch the diet and create a better relationship with food, ultimately even your body and yourself. Cool, I'm all for that. But it's also more than that to me. It's about the ability to make choice and having the confidence to make choice in food that feeds all different parts of you, and to make these choices without guilt or shame, because we've been feeling guilt and shame most of our lives. That is, if you're my age. Let's face it, guilt and shame go hand in hand with dieting, especially those nights that you might be out with your dear friends on a girls' night. What do they talk about? Yes, they talk about their families. Yes, they talk about parent problems, their jobs, and all of that stuff. But chances are you've had nights where there's been conversations about weight, diets, what are you doing? Doesn't she look so good? All of that. Being more free with food means that you're able to trust your body's signals to tell you what you need. It also means that you're able to listen to those signals. You need to be able to discern what comes from your body and not your mind, because some people will say, well, my body tells me I need chocolate all day long. Maybe their body does. So while food freedom is about having an intuitive and flexible relationship with food, it is also about having access to food, being able to eat, say, a yogurt, like in my last video, without someone telling you that it's bad for you. Even people who have food sensitivities, when they are able to eat in a way that feels good for them, even if it looks restrictive to someone else, that could be food freedom, don't you think? When you think of this in a broader sense, food freedom really means being able to enjoy food without a feeling of guilt. That whole message in your head that says, oh crap, I shouldn't have eaten this because, and then you insert a negative statement about yourself at the end of that sentence, about your body or about who you are as a person, that you're a bad person because you ate certain things. Food freedom, I think, comes when you don't feel shameful for eating a piece of bread or a cookie, or you don't feel shameful because when you eat paleo, you feel good in your body. Really, it is about choice and flexibility if we're going to distill it all down. When you start to listen to some food freedom people, it is like letting go of the wellness world and anything that looks like a diet. I get that. But for some, being able to just eat in a way that feels good might look like a diet, but it's working for them. I don't know if this makes sense. What I really want to highlight is the importance of food freedom in menopause. It is so important in menopause after all of these years, I think, to live unconfined but be free of guilt around food. When you start to feel free around food, you're going to feel free in other areas of your life because you're trusting yourself to make decisions about what you feel is right for you to eat. And it can change all the time. That is also food freedom. You may have seasons where all you really want to do is eat vegetables and protein. Maybe you have seasons where you're celebrating a lot and it's the holidays and you eat cake and cookies. And then you just shift back. That's freedom to me. Now, when you use the Googles, you might see that food freedom is a path to weight loss. I don't believe that anything is a promised path to weight loss. That is such an individual thing. Not everybody can look the same. Weight is not just governed by calories in, calories out. There's a whole lot of emotional factors in there too. At the end of the day, we all look different. All not meant to be the same size, but that's very hard to embody in menopause. Who's kidding who? It's hard to embody at any time of our lives as women living in this society. That's a blanket statement too. It's not hard for every woman. Some women come to body acceptance really early on in life. They are now. This wasn't a topic when I was in my 20s. And food freedom can also mean being able to enjoy your cultural foods without guilt or shame, because there's that too. So much food shame around pasta, rice, goodness, even fruit gets a bad rap in some circles. Basically, what I want you to take away from this is that what if you could actually think about food freedom as being choices that are right for you, and they might be right for you that day in that moment. I believe this is important in menopause because when we start to embrace all foods, we actually can also enjoy a lot of our life, because let's face it, the road ahead is a little shorter than the road behind. I want to spend my remaining years focusing on things I enjoy, not necessarily if a salad is going to affect my scale the next day. When you start to encompass components of food freedom, you're going to let go of judgment of yourself as well. You're going to live with less guilt about yourself and what you eat, and this is really good for your mental health. We have enough that we stress about at this age. What you can do is actually create less anxiety, and this sandwich generation has a lot of anxiety around parent care, kids at home, you know, all of that stuff. We even have anxiety about our health, and yes, we even think about the end of our life. There's a lot to think about when you hit 50 or 60 or more. But a lot of us in menopause are not ready for food freedom. I didn't come onto this idea until I was 50. It can feel very scary to think, oh my gosh, I can actually eat what I want any time that I choose to do so. Yes, it can feel scary. We feel like we might lose control. We do fear gaining weight. That feels like it's a genetic fear that's been passed down to us by our mothers, and it's passed around between friends. And of course, magazines, social media, all of that. Yet if you stay restricting your foods and feeling like you have to manipulate everything because of weight gain, think about what happens. How many times have you gone on and off, say, a diet, and you just end up eating all the things all the time, and then you start again Monday? This is truly the perfect time to change your attitude around food and become more flexible. So tell me in the comments if you have heard of food freedom. Do you have a different definition? And let me know if this video has you thinking a little bit differently about food. You will live more unconfined with other things in your life, and don't we want that? And I'll see you again next time.